In Pittsburgh, there's a district known as Lawrenceville, which has a place called Leslie Park. I avoid the area studiously because of the trauma of having been kidnapped in stolen vehicles and tortured, gassed at the Kingpin organization of a Zionist named Wattenmaker who savagely poisoned me with a nerve agent as a traumatized and battered deaf child. It's easy to prove, however, from the circumstances that found me there one day, a double cross situation involving the Rabbit of London and WQED found me locked in a house from the inside when they brought in this man who went by Casper. Ronnie and Casper, just like Reagan and Weinberger back in the 70s, were the men who attacked me, jumped out of the hedges at me, attacked me blindside. Armed men, threatening to kill. He walks in. What was I doing there in this house locked from the inside was Salk Research Labs. Jonas Salk was one of the only places where AIDS could have come from. Salk Research Labs was built by a group that called themselves Artec. They were part of WQED over by Leslie Park. Jonas Salk wrote a book called Survival of the Wisest, which costs $700 or $800. You can't get your hands on a copy. But it has a whole section on what he calls Epoch B death control. The good Lord giveth, the good Lord taketh away. And the letters came from Tanya, who's little darling. Gay ill Carolyn Burston. It's a homophone for Christian Armageddonism. So you can put the whole thing in the perfect presentation for the police who just slam the door in their face because they don't care. They don't care about Palestine. The AIDS victims themselves were like, who gets the money? They didn't care. They didn't try to protect anybody. They sided with the big wheels who did it. Okay, but you can put together the little erector set from that section right there. Gay ill Christmas caroling bombs bursting. Gay ill Carolyn Burston, a homophone for Christian Armageddonism. And all of her stuff about face getting red and blotchy and nearly killing me to take this nerve agent. Calling me a derf, which is like death, and naming Wattenmaker and Kyra Schoen, who was George Romero's daughter, Night of the Living Dead. You get the whole picture from this gloomy setup where they locked me in this house from the inside. This Al Gore type Peace Corps ecologist who lived near me, and I had gotten into conversations with because I was reading Buckminster Fuller and angry at Reagan for ignoring the environment, set up this connection where I got invited to the Salk Labor Party. Okay, so you get the whole thing is right there. This is a little cluster bomb of signals that they were behind the AIDS attack. It's right there. Perfect. But you see, they don't talk about that because they don't have any fun with that. What the Rabbit do is they put out a rock record that narrates Leslie Park's psychosis story about do you or don't you want me to make you helter skelter. And in fact, the girl in the script is named Mancine, which is like Manson Cinema. Manson and the Beatles got into it over Helter Skelter. And there was a filmmaker of the Romero variety involved in that. Sharon Tate got murdered. She was married to Roman Polanski. So there's all these little knickknacks in the wheels of California's theory of freedom, lawful theories of freedom. Men were named Ronnie Casper, just like Reagan and Weinberger. Szynski, right? Szynski. But they don't have any fun with that. What they like is Neva pornographic, Jaime Carbonell, and Andrea Swimmer, and Martin Edelman saying, she wanted it, she didn't want it. She wanted it, she didn't want it. Mike Exler, X-Slur goes, you blew it. Here's what happened. She was left untouched after a year of, she was hardly innocent. She took down her petticoats and administered her hell-like red vegetable to my perilous Irish lips so that I grew a red beard. I did. I grew a red beard after relentless lapping. She called it her nightly cat cleansing. She was untouched. She fell asleep, back naked with her legs spread, sometimes in the forest, miles from anybody who would come, totally trusting me because she knew I wouldn't touch her. And Penis Gabriel and Robert Fripp came and said he cried too much. Bill Wheeler said he wasn't healing properly. Did they tell you that they had implanted a nerve agent? Did they tell you that they had written a description of what the nerve agent did to somebody, which was to make them suffer? They didn't know. What they said was, he doesn't, he's pushy, he's deaf, he's clingy. We don't know him. It's uncertain whether or not he would look at a celebrity with rapacious eyes. And they put out a song about it. And they knew that there was neuroplasm because they put it there. That's why they had that whiz kid from Senegal come with a yada 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 neuroplasm, target the nerve, rip it open, so that I suffered. And then Brian Eno came with two sticks and he was rubbing together to make fire. One stick were his fans with AIDS, and the other stick was Jimmy with his nerve agent. He rubbed them together so that they would torture Jimmy. And the more pain he caused, he would try to cope with this and create poetry. And Clint Eastwood would blow up the USS Iowa because and put on the headlines in Maine newspaper, "Wounded Iowa hits home," because I said I was from Iowa. And this sort of thing, right? And they have the lady with the dagger outside the World Trade Center, and they blame the Muslims on it. She was working with Gabriel. They say, okay, well, Gail Burson was on the cover of Robert Fripp's Records in 1979. It's an investment portfolio. Paul McCartney didn't kill John Lennon, but it's a risky business. We're going to work with the people who make us the most money. Well, John Lennon stepped out in 1980. 79 is a year earlier. Nobody wants to talk about that. They don't have any fun with that. They rub the two sticks together. They want to talk about that. And Hamas was put into Gaza by Netanyahu, and he said, now hit us so we can exterminate the poor Arabs, because all of the royal class in it, they didn't like Arab Spring. They don't like human rights. Nobody talks about it. Piers Morgan is such a house cat when it comes to game theory. It's Hamas versus the sacred state of Israel, and they have this very nice John Schulman-esque character. Schulman was ripping off the books from the museum, $6 million. They ran me out of town for trying to stop him, for doing a citizen's report on my suspicions about him. Who was he selling the books to? Christopher Columbus. He had a man who was friends with one of Trump's speechwriters, ghostwriters, working for him at this stolen bookstore. And they were all Zionists. All of them were. One of them got on the radio calling himself Abdul the Terrorist. This is Penis Sinfield and King Crimson working with Abdul the Terrorist, a hardcore Zionist berserker. And Pierre Morgan doesn't want to entertain the idea that Hamas is another one of these Abdul the Terrorist who just throws a grenade at some people in Israel and then says, let's go. And they pour over and exterminate. And that simpleton, that evil simpleton, Joe Biden, just gives them all the bomb. He gives them the budget of the United States of America to blow on the Bandera group in Ukraine, on Netanyahu's extermination. What we get for this in return is the destruction of the universities in Gaza, our own schools, or perish the thought that they should ever do a reflective essay on what they just pulled in Israel, or try to get credit for their encampment experiences. America is being dog whipped. All you have to do is look at me and you see what the Israelis have done. I'm a symbol of America. I am a symbol of America. We were pioneers. We were at Plymouth meeting as pilgrims. 1812, the Revolution. We fought in all of them. World War I, World War II, all of them. I came from the same ship as Bush in the Navy. But he doesn't want to talk about gay, ill Carolyn Burson. That's too revealing. He wants to talk about how Penis Gabriel devised an Eno system where virginity proves rape because it's plagiarism of the concept of a John Lennon song.